name is Daryl Kwao. We begin tonight with the weekend's fire disaster, and the Ministry of Energy has tasked the National Petroleum Authority to set up a 200-member audit task force to ensure fuel stations, especially those with gas sale outlets, comply with relevant regulations. The Sector Minister, Boachi Jako, says the ministry is meeting to develop more regulations to give the NPA prosecutorial powers.
This explosion was one too many, and we need to bring it to a screeching halt. There are a lot of things that we are going to do through the enunciation of the new policy. We will enforce all safety and health standards. NPA, which is the regulator, is now going to be allowed to hire 200 auditors who will go from station to station to make sure that safety standards are complied with, that safety equipment such as the CO2 and the foam and this and that are all in place. But more importantly, we have to come to the sensible and the logical position of having bottling plants outside population centers, well under control, both technical and safety, so that they rather do the filling and bring to us in our homes the filled cylinders. We are in talks with NPA. They have to get people who are trainable and train them as quickly as possible and deploy them. You don't want to make a job for the boys. You just take any old Tom, Dick and Harry and put the uniform on them and say, go be an inspector. It will be a total waste of time. NPA will select quality, trainable people, give them the basic training and send them out. So it has to be, this matter cannot wait. So we are in a hurry on it.
Meanwhile, the Greater Accra Regional Director of Operations at the Ghana Police Service, DCOP Kufu Dampare, has been assuring businesses whose activities have been affected by last weekend's fire disaster that the place will be open soon for business activities to continue after investigations are done. This was after a meeting with the operators.
So we know there are some businesses who operate here. Now this tragic incident happens and they don't have to come here today. What time are we expecting them to come back, or what is the police command or the security service telling them?
We've been engaging them as and when they show up, and we have intention of meeting them as a group shortly. The important thing is that the scene is so cordoned off, and we are working day and night to ensure that we are able to complete the investigations on the field and hand over the site for anyone who has anything doing there to come and do it. But in terms of time frame, when investigation is being conducted like this, we are careful not to give time frame, but with continuous engagement in a form of continuous engagement with affected people, they will give them assurance that we are working, and then anytime we get to the point that a place needs to be handed over, then we'll quickly do that. So I can assure you that everything is on course, working day and night to ensure that we finish our work as soon as possible and hand over the site to anyone who has something to do here.
So if I understand you, it means the people who have been affected one way or the other, they are going to be allowed in here when you are done with your investigation.
Anybody who has anything doing here, our duty is to finish our investigation and hand over the site. And anybody who has anything doing here will definitely have the opportunity to do it there, unless the assembly, which is responsible for the area, has something else to share with them.
Okay, but we know that since the incident happened, you have authority for now. How soon are we expecting the investigation to finish so that you hand over to the assembly or the people who are working over here?
Like I've indicated, we are working day and night, and within the shortest possible time, we'll be able to finish that. But it will be difficult for us to give a time frame. But as you could see, as we progress in the investigation of the site, technically, as we progress with the processing of the site, we keep handing over, including open to traffic, the roads that were closed. So we'll do that gradually, and it is not going to be a waterfall approach where we'll just keep the part that we have completed the investigation until we complete all of it. We will keep handing them over in an agile framework in bits to ensure that we don't hold on to any place that we have nothing doing there anymore.
Okay, so with the issue of traffic, we could see that there's so much traffic over here because on the normal Monday, over here you could see on the normal Monday, vehicles are supposed to, go to work, wherever they are going to do their businesses, but some of the routes have been blocked. I don't know if you could explain to us when they are also going to be open to traffic.
When you say some of the roads have been blocked, then you are probably overstretching the point. Maybe a couple of roads have been blocked. And like we said, because we have had that in mind, and we thank God that even this incident happened on a Saturday, which was the weekend, and knowing that today is Monday, and with a rush hour in mind, we came here around 5 to ensure that where we got to last night in terms of the investigation, the portion of the road that we think we've completed the investigation on, we need to open that to traffic, which we have done in a one-way mode. As we progress with the investigation, we know that very soon we will open the other stretch also to traffic. And when we do that, then all the roads are open to traffic.
All right, thank you very much, DCOP. Thank you so much.
Well, officials of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, have also been speaking with Joy Business. They say they have begun assessing the extent of damage to property, especially for businesses which operated at or around the gas explosion scene at Atomic Junction. Ebenezer Sabute has been speaking with the Greater Accra Regional Coordinator of NADMO, Archibald Kobina.
Definitely there will be reliefs and some compensation. As to what, I won't be able to give you details for now. I'm sure you are aware that His Excellency the President has even summoned cabinet meeting for this very reason. And I think that all of that would be discussed, and government definitely would come clear as to what it's going to do for affected persons. What we have done, two major, I think one was to assist in ensuring that so many people were not affected, and also helping the fire service and the police in ensuring that at least everything was brought to its barest minimum. And then the next stage is the assessment. In fact, even yesterday we had to do, the NPA and the EPA had to do siphoning of the rest of the gas, and they even had to pump water to ensure that all the gas the ones that were left had been flared off, and therefore the place was free of any danger. I think those are the things, and now we are doing right from yesterday we started some assessment. We also had the information service van going around and doing an announcement to people to report. So we're going to look at what we have now, and then what we have asked. What I've done right now is to divide them into groups. You know, the area is wide. We have the pre-sec school, we have the hostels here, we have the Roland Circle Road, this is Hacho Road, then you have North Legon side of the road, and then the main surroundings. So the teams are going to go around and do assessment so that we can have a much broader or a much fuller appreciation of the level of impact.
Okay, so two quick questions. So when are we going to finish with the registration one, and then the assessment? How is the assessment going to be done? Is it going to be based on how big your business is, how small, or how is it going to be done?
Oh, right now, that kind of assessment we are doing, we are taking information, the names of persons who are living there, whether they were affected, whether, for example, yesterday I had to see one house which is about 400 meters thereabout or more, where one metal that was very huge had to fly from this point into that house, broke the wall there, and if somebody was there, maybe it would have. So we need to assess all of that and know what has been affected and how many things have been affected in the first place. Once all those assessments are done, then we'll do the report and send to our headquarters. In fact, the headquarters is even here, and then the national or the government, so that they would encompass all of that, and then the decision will be taken on.
How has the coordination been so far between the people and yourselves as NADMO?
Oh, very, 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 very cordial. You know, the usual Ghanaian thing. You know, there are some of them who are even walking in themselves. You know, it was only yesterday night that some few guys wanted to, you know, come around and steal some of the items here. And unfortunately, the police personnel who were here, some of our team had to ward some of them away. You know, so I think that generally the cooperation between police, fire service, paramedics, the ambulance service, the NADMO, fantastic. The communication team, fantastic relationship. I mean, we understand ourselves. We come to agreement on what to do, and then people are just willing to offer themselves to help one way or the other. You know, it's a very sad situation, and I want to take the opportunity to commend all the various state institutions, even the nurses and the doctors who were on leave, those who had to even come back and can come and put their shoulders to the wheel. We salute everybody, the NADMO staff, the police, the fire service, and even government officials, the number of ministers who came here, the number of chief executives who came here. I mean, and we cannot leave the media out. Because the first day that this thing happened, we were calling the media to make sure that announcement will be done, so that people will know that they do not have to come this direction. And I'm thinking from then up till now, you've been on point, you've been trying to, you know, follow so that people back home would be guided and would know what is happening. We salute everybody.
Well, still on the gas explosion, we are getting another reaction from the Institute of Energy Security. It's saying that the frequency and impact of the explosions are a clear manifestation of the absence of rigorous standards and regulations associated with LPG handling within the Ghanaian downstream petroleum sector. In a statement, the IES said it is necessary for the regulatory bodies within the sector to move beyond the rhetoric to save this avoidable and embarrassing phenomenon. It says anytime a gas explosion has occurred, the National Petroleum Authority, together with its allied agencies, are quick to come out with reports on the cause of the incident and proceed further to assure Ghanaians of making the explosions a thing of the past. The IAS says the Atomic Junction gas explosion that has taken at least 7 lives and injuring over 130 persons could have been avoided if authorities had acted on the recommendations of previous explosions and beyond the promises. It is for this reason that the Institute for Energy Security is calling on the NPA and related bodies to institute reforms in the handling of LPG in the country. It says it is imperative that the NPA, EPA and allied agencies move plans that are collecting dust on drawing boards to implementation on the ground. According to the energy think tank, the reforms must go beyond banning of filling of LPG bottles at retail sites to include the appropriate siting of LPG retailing stations, consistent and effective monitoring of LPG sites, stringent regulatory and licensing regimes. The IAS also appealing while encouraging especially the NPA not to tolerate any form of resistance or any unnecessary interference likely to come from persons with parochial interest in its quest to bring about the needed reforms. And you're still watching Business Live. Now, the Minister of Energy, Boakye Jaco, has urged the newly inaugurated board of the Ghana Gas Company Limited to work to ensure that the company does not incur huge debts that will require a bailout from government. He was speaking on the back of the VRA's indebtedness to National Gas Company, whilst the Ghana Gas in turn owes the GMPC millions of dollars.
I think I would like to look at it as a net off. So as far as Ghana Gas is concerned, if you look at the services that we provide in terms of processing, transportation, and distribution of gas, we come out with a hefty positive in terms of our balance sheet. We do owe GMPC for the commodity that they supply to VRA ultimately. But what VRA owes us is quite significant. So I would say if you look at our balance sheet, we're probably about $300 to $400 million in the black.
The expectations of His Excellency the President and the good people of Ghana are that the management of Ghana Gas will not make a habit of continually running to government for funds, but rather you as the board will help develop the organization to become a world-class gas company that operates on sound business models that generates sustainable revenue streams. I also expect you to lead in the expansion of the gas infrastructure as it currently exists through viable financing strategies for its implementation.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
Do in the name of the Almighty God swear.
That I will.
Well, the new board chairperson for Ghana Gas is Christine Churchill. Now, moving away from that, and challenges with revenue mobilization and its impact on Ghana's program would dominate discussions at the annual IMF World Meetings, which opens in Washington, D.C. George Yafe has the rest of the story.
The annual IMF World Bank Meetings is the biggest gathering of finance ministers and central bank governors from almost 200 countries around the world who meet in Washington, D.C. The meeting will afford them an opportunity to deliberate on issues affecting the global economy and measures that should be instituted to safeguard the financial system from any crisis. On the direct or the bilateral meetings between Ghana and officials of the IMF during the meetings over the next 10 days, Joy Business understands the recent challenges in meeting revenue target will dominate discussions, whilst government will be seeking to assure the fund officials that challenges with revenue mobilization are under control. Officials of the IMF would be pushing for some practical measures that should be implemented to minimize the impact of this development on the budget deficit for this year and 2018. Latest fiscal data showed that government is still struggling to meet its revenue target. The data revealed that revenue was down by 3 billion Ghana cedis as against the July ending target of 24 billion Ghana cedis. This could affect efforts to reduce the gap between revenue mobilized and government's expenditure.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is leading government's delegation to the annual IMF World Bank meetings in Washington, D.C. The delegation is also made up of officials from the Bank of Ghana, which includes the Governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, and his first deputy, Dr. Maxwell Afari, Chair of Parliament's Finance Committee, Dr. Marcus Beyewa, as well as officials from the Finance Ministry. Away from that, to other news, officials of Deloitte Ghana are bringing on board a team of international investors to explore and invest in various sectors of the economy. Country Managing Executive of Deloitte, Charles Labiodam, says the team is also here to liaise with government to take advantage of opportunities in the economy, including agro-processing.
Deloitte Ghana has brought in a team of investors that have expressed interest in the various economic landscape of the country. The managing director of the company, Charles Labiodam, has revealed that these investors currently here in Ghana have expressed various interests in boosting the Ghanaian economy through their capital. We shall be getting in touch with the Minister for Development, Mohammed Awal, and to ask him what exactly this means to them and the various preparations that government aims at achieving in the wake of this investment. According to Deloitte, the move forms part of the company's resolve to ensure that investor confidence in Ghana is shored up. Charles Labiodam is the country managing executive of Deloitte.
We have been to Ethiopia, Kenya, in West Africa, Ivory Coast, Senegal. This year, the decision was to come to Ghana, and it's a decision driven by the setup in Ghana as it is now. Ghana has positioned itself, in our view, as the hub for economic development in the West Africa region. And it is from this perspective that we saw it fit to bring business executives from Europe, Middle East, and Africa to Ghana this year to network with Ghanaian businesses together with government.
Minister for Business Development Mohamed Awar reiterated government's commitment to ensuring that it regulates an open market to provide opportunities for all investors across a variety of sectors.
There are opportunities in Ghana from agro-processing, agribusiness, real estate, infrastructure, health and education. I want to encourage them not to see just obstacles, but to see opportunities, take advantage of them, and government to support them to achieve their goal. Cost of borrowing, most businesses don't have the capital. Has also improved. It's now in the 20s. It used to be the late 30s. And then, as I said, energy. Government also initiated a lot of projects and programs to make sure that the Ghanaians' living standard improves.
The 15-member team of investors are expected to focus on the agric, automobile, energy and health sectors. Okay, we want to do our interview of the day right now. We want to take you back to the situation at the area where the gas explosion took place, and some business operators have been volunteering information to NADMO ahead of payment of some compensations. Ebenezer Sabute has been engaging some of these affected operators at the accident scene.
Interview of the day.
I'm a trader here. I sell books, I sell bags, I sell belts, cufflinks, and tie. Actually, a brother called me and informed me that the police people are taking a report, and the NADMO people too are around to help take some information from us, after which they will see what they can do to support us or to help us continue with our business. As we all know, there's been great losses. I mean, when the thing started, we all had to run for our dear lives, and we left our goods behind, and you know, in the course of it, others came and stole it, and the fire too has burnt a lot of them. So we are just here to see what they can do to help us. From the little estimate I've done so far, it's running to about 3,000 Ghana cedis. Yeah, because actually, I've been able to get some of the few of the books, but I mean, it cannot be, you know, the amount is not significant. I mean, it's nothing to write home about.
The mobile money, where I've been doing it, they came and stole the things. Some of the things got burnt. My phones, my money, and the credits or.
And so, like, all those things that have been lost, or both the stolen and the burnt, when you put your estimation and how much are we looking at over here?
8,700.
How much, please?
8,700. I'm confused, and from here I'll go to the house. I'll go and think about how I'm going to do my things to gather something, and probably call some people if they will help me. For now, I don't have any place to.
Okay, that's fine. So as you can see, those are some traders who normally do businesses here, and on the unfortunate incident have affected their businesses.
Interview of the day.
Well, you can catch up on all our business stories by visiting our website, myjoyonline.com/business. That'll be it for Business Live. My name is Daryl Kwao. We'll see you same time tomorrow.